Darwin's delay. In 1859, Charles Darwin published On the Origin of Species, a groundbreaking work that deliberated on evolution with extensive observations from diverse habitats across the globe. However, Darwin had already conceived and developed the central idea by 1838. The nearly 20-year delay in publishing his work, known as Darwin's delay, has been a subject of curiosity and debate. Was it procrastination, fear, or something else? Given that Darwin was actively writing and researching during this period, procrastination can be reasonably ruled out. Instead, his delay might be attributed to a meticulous
Colobians regarded dogs as highly sacred animals.
Similarly, dogs held a sacred status in Greek mythology.
For Darwin's hesitation,
all the people I interacted with regarding this matter affirmed that God created. His proposition that humans may have descended from apes directly challenged the widely accepted theological view of divine creation. At the time, religious doctrine asserted that all species were created immutable, as seen in a lifetime, making the concept of species mutability both heretical and threatening. By challenging the notion of God's special creation of humankind, Darwin risked alienation, condemnation, and even severe personal consequences. Darwin himself acknowledged the human tendency to resist paradigm-shifting ideas. He wrote, "The chief cause of our natural unwillingness to admit that one species has given birth to other and distinct species is that we are always slow in admitting any great changes of which we do not see the steps. The difficulty is the same as that felt by so many geologists when Lyell first insisted that long lines of inland cliffs had been formed and great valleys excavated by the agencies which we still see at work. The mind cannot possibly grasp the full meaning of the term of even 1,000,000 years. It cannot add up and perceive the full effects of many slight variations accumulated during an almost infinite number of generations." This statement highlights the cognitive challenge of accepting gradual, imperceptible changes over vast timescales. Just as geologists initially struggled to accept Lyell's principles of uniformitarianism, biologists and the broader public were bound to resist the notion that species were not static but mutable entities shaped by natural selection. Darwin appeared to be acutely aware of the societal and personal risks associated with his theory. Rather than publicly proclaiming his ideas, he initially confined discussions to private correspondences with trusted friends. This soft launch allowed him to gauge reactions and perhaps prepare himself for the backlash he anticipated. He refrained from delivering public lectures or introducing his ideas in other works before On the Origin of Species. During this period, he secured a few allies, but his concerns remained valid. The arrival of Alfred Russel Wallace's independent theory of natural selection may have evoked a mix of emotions in Darwin, ranging from a sense of urgency to solidarity. Wallace's concurrent discovery might have served as both a challenge and a reassurance, compelling Darwin to finally publish his work in 1859. In doing so, Darwin not only defied societal and theological norms, but also overcame his internal apprehensions. His publication was not just a scientific milestone, but an act of intellectual rebellion, a testament to knowledge triumphing over personal and societal constraints. Among the many passages in On the Origin of Species, one stands out as profoundly relevant, perhaps even more so than the concept of evolution itself. It offers a reflective lens on the nature of belief, persuasion, and intellectual flexibility. Darwin wrote, "Although I am fully convinced of the truth of the views given in this volume under the form of an abstract, I by no means expect to convince experienced naturalists whose minds are stocked with a multitude of facts, all viewed during a long course of years from a point of view directly opposite to mine. It is so easy to hide our ignorance under such expressions as the plan of creation, unity of design, etc., and to think that we give an explanation when we only restate a fact. Anyone whose disposition leads him to attach more weight to unexplained difficulties than to the explanation of a certain number of facts will certainly reject my theory." A few naturalists endowed with much flexibility of mind and who have already begun to doubt on the immutability of species may be influenced by this volume. But I look with confidence to the future, to young and rising naturalists who will be able to view both sides of the question with impartiality. Whoever is led to believe that species are mutable will do good service by conscientiously expressing his conviction, for only thus can the load of prejudice by which this subject is overwhelmed be removed. This passage encapsulates Darwin's awareness of resistance to change. He recognized that those deeply entrenched in traditional views would reject his ideas outright, not because they lacked merit, but because of their sheer incompatibility with prevailing thought. His confidence, however, lay in future generations, those willing to examine both sides with impartiality and challenge prevailing dogmas. Darwin's delay, then, was not hesitation without cause. It was a calculated period of reflection, accumulation of evidence, and psychological preparation for a battle he knew would be long and arduous. His final decision to publish was not just a scientific breakthrough, but an act of profound courage, marking a pivotal moment in the history of human thought.